have faith and all things can come true. There's a story in the New Testament where Jesus has just been finishing his tour through uh, Tyre and Sidon, and now he's on his way back home. And when he does, he meets a woman who's a Canaanite, someone who's looked down upon by the Jews. And she comes up to the apostles and Jesus' group, and she starts to beg, please tell Jesus that I want my daughter to be cured. She has a demon within her. Please tell him to help me. And the apostles push her away. But she doesn't go away. She keeps following him and she keeps begging. And finally the apostles go to Jesus and say, Jesus, we've got to get rid of this woman. She's nothing but a pest. Get her away from us. Tell her to go. And Jesus says nothing. And then the woman comes and she throws herself on the knees and she begs Jesus, Jesus, please help me and help my daughter. She's got a demon and we know that you can throw them out. Please have pity on me. And Jesus looks at the woman and he says to her, am I supposed to throw the children's food to the dogs? And the woman simply responded, but yes, Lord, even the dogs can eat the crumbs from the table. And then Jesus realized, what faith could this woman have? Here, I almost just insulted her and called her dog, almost. And yet she still came back and she still believed in me enough to say that she didn't care what I called her. She didn't care what I thought about her. She just knew that I had the power and that she believed in me. And I realized how much faith that she had. And so Jesus did cure her daughter. And what's the message in this? Jesus didn't mean to be mean to her. He wasn't out there to disgrace her or whatever. He was trying to give a message. And the message was that, yes, he was called to give his message to the Father to the Jewish people. But the Jewish people were not even accepting his message. And here is a woman who's a Canaanite, an unbeliever. And she comes and she does. She has total faith in Jesus. No matter what he says to her, she goes up to him and she believes in him. And he is willing to help her by getting rid of the demon in her daughter, because she had faith. And that's what he saw lacking in his own people. His own people didn't have the faith in him that this Canaanite woman did. And so he was willing to say, yes, I will help you. And we could ask the same question. Do we sometimes go to Jesus and ask him for something, and maybe he rebuffs us, or we don't think he's answering our prayers? And Jesus listens. Jesus hears our prayers. But he wants to have faith from us. Because if we don't believe and we don't have faith, then there's nothing Jesus can do. Because it's through faith that we will be healed. And just as this Canaanite woman wouldn't give up, she kept begging and she kept coming and she kept asking, so do we. Sometimes we don't get answers to our prayers, at least right away. But we have to keep going back and back and back. And why? Because Jesus wants us to show that we have faith in him. And maybe what we ask for does get resolved in a day or two. And maybe it's years. And maybe it's never. But he wants us to keep coming back. And he wants us to keep having faith in him. And every once in a while, we do get crumbs thrown our way. We get a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And maybe it's not the kind of healing that we want or the answer to the prayer in the way we want, but maybe we're getting our prayers answered in a way we never expected, in ways that we could never dream of. And so therefore, what Jesus is trying to tell us in this little story is that no matter what crumbs were thrown, they're all a matter of faith. Think of each little crumb that falls from the table of the Lord as a blessing. Think of each little crumb that falls from the table of the Lord as an opportunity to say, I believe in you.